If you ever tried implementing OAuth in a mobile app, you probably know the experience usually goes something like this. Okay, login works on web. Why is iOS broken now? Why is Android not returning to the app? What the hell is the PKCE? Wait, now refresh tokens are failing too? Mobile authentication gets complicated fast, you know it. That's exactly why we built the Capawesome OAuth plugin. It provides a modern production-ready way to handle OAuth 2.0 and OpenID Connect with PKCE across Android, iOS, and web using native authentication sessions. And if you have been using OpenID Connect and are worried about its discontinuation, good news. This plugin is a really solid replacement. I'm Diana, part of the Capawesome team, and in this video, I will show you how to add the OAuth plugin to any Capacitor application and how to connect it with an OAuth provider like Auth0, Azure IDE, Amazon Cognito, Okta, OneLogin, or Google, or any other provider. We already have detailed guides on the Capawesome blog for several providers like Okta and Auth0 and Azure, so I will leave those links in the description below. And for this tutorial, I picked Auth0 because it's probably the fastest one to set up, but honestly, the overall flow is very similar across providers. So let's start. I will be following this tutorial, how to sign in with Auth0 using Capacitor, and we will be creating an application that you can download for free from GitHub to see all the code and reuse it on your project. So the first step will be to sign in to Auth0. Maybe you already have an account, so just sign in or create a new account. Once you are logged in, you will create a new application. I already created this one, but you will create and select a name, and here you have to select native. Okay, so new app, create, and you don't need to touch anything here. We will go straight to the settings, and here we will need to use this for our application. I will show you where we need to put it. We also need the client ID, and we will need to add the different URLs for the login callback, logout callback, and also if you are testing on web, you need to add the allow web origins and also here for course. But let's go one step at a time. So after you have created your application, I will use this one that I already created for the demo. We will go to the code. So this is a vanilla JavaScript project that I created. It's simple app with Capacitor and the iOS and Android applications already created. These are only the dependencies, so Capacitor, the OAuth plugin, and that's all. The application on the web looks something like this. When you sign in, all the OAuth with Auth0 process for login is done, and then, okay, I will show you. With Google, of course, this is web, but it works. I will show you also how it works in iOS and Android. So after you log in, we get from the provider my name and my email. And here you can refresh the token, you can log out. So that's what we are going to build right now. Okay, so we will be following this guide. So as I mentioned, first we need to set up the Auth0 application, and then we need to configure the callback URLs in our application. So let's go to the code. In the code I created, we have two basic pages, the home page, which is this one, and then the profile page. Okay, and then a simple service that will handle all the code with the plugin, with Auth0 in this case. Okay, so in this service here, I created some variables for the issuer URL, which, as I mentioned before, is your domain here. As you can see, it's this one. The client ID, which you will copy from here. And then the callbacks, okay? You can add support for iOS, for Android, and for web, but you can choose if you want all of them or just the ones you need, okay? So in this example, I added support for the 3 platforms. So we will need to add these URLs here. So this will be the callback URLs. This means after the user does the sign in, where is going, like Auth0 needs to call this URL to give you back the token and to return the user to your application. So in my case, this will be the native URL and this will be the web URL because the project is running on this port, as you can see. And then the same for logout, what happens after user logs out. And then because I'm testing this on web, I also added these ones here. Of course, if you are running on another port, you need to add your specific port. Okay. And then on my code, I added this also as variables here, constants here, because I have this function, get redirect URL, that depending on the platform, we will return the web or the native URL. Okay, so the code is very simple. On the login click button, we will try to log in, and the login just calls the OAuth login function with the issuer URL, the client ID, the redirect URL, and these are the scopes. As with any OAuth provider, you may already know that you need to define the scopes that you need. Okay, after the user logs in successfully, we will save the session. For this example, we are just using the local storage, but you know, this is the perfect example where the secure preferences plugin could be a very good solution because we will be saving the token, so it's private information, so you can save it in secure preferences from the device. It's safer, it's better. I will leave the link to that plugin on the description also. So I want to show you on the browser where this token is saved. So if you go to application, local storage, you can see here, the token is here. If I hit refresh, we will have another token. Okay. So when we close the application, this will stay here. So if the token is still valid, the user will be able to log in using the refresh token. Okay, so what else with the code? To get the user profile, we call this decode ID token. So we pass the token to this function. Depending on the scopes we have entered before, we'll get the different claims like the name, their email, and so on. And then what else? We have the refresh token method to get a new refresh token, and you will save it on your local storage, secure preferences, or whatever you're using. Then the logout. So the same, we call the logout method with all these parameters. In this case, the logout redirect URL will be whatever we entered here, and it has to match with what you put here. If it doesn't match, you will get an error from Auth0 saying that the URLs are not correctly configured, so you will notice it. Okay, so for the code, that's all. Then, of course, we have like another functions to check if the user is authenticated, if it has a valid session. So very simple application. Let me now show you the documentation. So here you have all the different APIs available that you can use with all the documentation. And also, when configuring this, when installing this, I forgot to mention this, when you install the plugin, this plugin is part of the Capawesome Insiders program. If you are not familiar with Insiders, we provide tons of enterprise-grade Capacitor SDKs built and maintained by experts. These plugins you have to pay for this, you have to buy a license, but we have different options. Make sure to check them out. So once you buy your license, you will get a key and you need to configure the npm registry. And then you're ready to go. You can install the package as any other package, or you can use our skills to install them and to ask the agents to configure this plugin for you. But in this case, the configuration is very easy. You just need to add this redirect scheme on Android, of course, with your own bundle ID. And that's all. Okay, let me show you how it works on iPhone. I'm mirroring my phone. So Auth0 is requesting access. Okay, So this is working on iOS. I can refresh the session and I will get a new refresh token. I can go back to Auth and then I will be able to go here. In this tutorial, I showed you how you can use the OAuth Capacitor plugin in your application to add an authentication with any OAuth 2.0 and OpenID Connect providers. So as you can see, this was easy to set up. There's no need to have headaches regarding this. So I really encourage you to using this plugin and also to use it with secure preferences, as it explains here, to securely store the tokens. I will leave the link of this repo so you can download it and test it. And if you have any question, you know where to reach us. Leave a comment with any feedback and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Bye-bye.